doors of a bayou bar. There's a place God's angels don't go. Satan rules it, all room laws over creatures only madmen know. It's a Louisiana guard dog nightmare. Agent don't say his name, but they say he looks just like a rabbit dog, and he walks upright like a man.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Sulk stream. I hope you guys are doing well. Doing fantastic. Doing the best you possibly can. Trump's president now. How about that? That's interesting. That's gonna change some stuff, I imagine. I don't know. I'm not a political scientist or some sort of politics doctor, which I'm sure they have, right? And I'm sure the degree costs a fortune. But then you get to say, what is politics? So that's got to be a cushy job. A lot of perks. A lot of perks. Thank you guys so much for coming. We are not talking about politics at all this evening. Not even a little bit. We're not talking about MLK, Malcolm X, Donald Trump, Bowden, whatever the last guy's name is. I forget. Tonight we are talking about werewolves. Yeah. They stalk the night. They hunt our children. They steal our women. What will we do about the werewolves? None of those things, because I'm not any sort of werewolf hunter. I have no bounties on werewolf. And if there was a bounty on a werewolf, I'm sure there'd be much better bounty hunters than I would be. I'd give it a shot. I would give it a shot. But like one literal shot, because I'm not wasting that much silver. It's expensive, and, you know, werewolves are fast. And I'm not saying I'm a terrible shot, but, you know, when you're shooting silver, the pressure's on. The pressure's on. You're shooting lead, you have a lot of lead. Anyways, thank you so much for coming. We're going to start this right over, because this was a groove. And I felt it. I felt it in my bones. God, I should do witch doctors, shouldn't I? I should do witch doctors, some sort of voodoo episode. Somebody look into that for me. Arden, find me a voodoo documentary that's not boring as fuck. That's the hard part, right? Because you think shrunken heads, like, cool and stuff, but really, there's not too much to it. There's not too much to it. Just chicken bones and cauldrons and hot stones and such, and then some dances, and then somebody gets raped. I don't practice voodoo. I nailed it a long time ago. But maybe you guys want to look into it. I'll look into a voodoo one. But now we're doing werewolves. So stay on track. Stay with me. Stay focused. All right, guys? We don't have much time. The apocalypse is upon us. The Antichrist, I guess. Whatever you want to call him. A lot of people call him that. Maybe he'll build the third temple. We don't know what's going to happen. Maybe everything will be fixed, but maybe not. Remember, this is the Sulk stream, not the super overly optimistic stream. So buckle up, get ready, get comfy, get cozy. Grab a nice bottle of champagne if you voted for him. And if you didn't, I don't know why you're watching this. You don't seem like you would be down with my politics. But regardless, if you're watching it and you didn't vote for him, welcome. Welcome, sir. Or ma'am. Most likely ma'am. Regardless of how it was born. Anyways, guys, if you're working, keep working. If you're driving, drive faster. Get home so you can hop in the chat. Grab a bottle of something nice. Again, champagne, maybe wine, maybe whiskey, some absinthe, perhaps. Get a nice bathrobe. Put your hair up in one of those towels. You know, you deserve it. You deserve it. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for being part of my cult. I know there's many cults you can choose from, and I appreciate you choosing the Sulk cult. So thank you for all your sulking needs and cult-related rituals. I'm the Incredible Sulk. This is a Sulk stream, and this is called Are Werewolves Real? Are Werewolves Real? Oh yeah, and it's narrated by William Shatner. A little bonus for you. Little bonus.
You know,
The Bill Shat.
I've been around for a while.
That's what I call him. You can't call him that.
Done some crazy things.
Yeah, you have, Willem.
You'd think that there
Yeah, you
wasn't
have.
much that could take me by surprise.
That dude has had sex with aliens. And, like, non-Earth aliens. There's lots of American aliens that are getting shipped out, right? They must be hiding in all types of nooks and crannies. I wonder what's really going to happen. Is there going to be a bus that goes around? I'll be reporting people, right? All the time. All the time. I know where they hang out. I have like a notebook. You know how Frozen writes down dating tips? I write down the locations of illegal migrants and just other minorities.
You'd be wrong.
Just for my peace of mind. You know?
The world is full of stories and science and things.
Ardenshire,
amazing and found
Obedient,
every single
Scott,
day.
David.
Incredible mysteries. that
Background
keep me
noise.
awake at night. Some I can answer.
Dick Rickham.
Others just defy logic.
And that's all of them.
Are man
That's all in
and
the chat.
monster closer than we think?
No.
In New Jersey,
I know I have a very serious show, and this is kind of not on my main topics, but, you know, I don't want to be so heavy all the time, right? Sometimes I want to talk about werewolves, so that's what I'm going to do.
a woman and her son are attacked by a huge...
I don't know much about werewolves.
He was just frozen in terror.
They have sex with vampires, I guess? I don't know. I didn't watch Twilight. If you're a Twilight person, I don't know why you're watching this. But if you're a Twilight person, there's got to be some background there. Vampires and
Is it a demon from the 18th?
werewolves. Sex is
In
definitely
South Carolina,
involved.
a giant lizard-like beast terrorizes a motorist.
Background noise says our werewolves. God, werewolves are gonna. That's gonna be hard for me to say all night. Werewolves. Are werewolves another sex thing like the dancing bears? No. Why does it always have to come back to sex? It might be though.
I wish I knew what was terrible.
It doesn't always have to come back to sex, but this legitimately might be another sex thing.
Up these cars.
Are
Maybe.
reptoids from an underground world stalking us?
Yes.
And in Wisconsin, a ravenous and terrifying creature appears on a remote country road.
It looked like a large wolf head on top of a really husky, furry body.
Was it
It's just a
wolf?
drunk hobo. Most likely. It was Royce.
It's a weird world, and I
It was Royce. JD says, didn't Shatner do and his wife murder her? Did he? No, he didn't do that. Captain Kirk murdered his wife? He kissed a black lady on the TV in the 60s, and that caused an uproar. So maybe he did. Maybe he did murder his wife. That's the only evidence I need. You're a murderer. O.J. Shatner. Background noise says I got 2 cans of the finest gold Krylon I could find. I'm set. That's what you're drinking tonight, Krylon. Good. Finish them. Both.
You know,
Shotgunning cans of paint. That's what I want to see you do. And then you're gonna be like, witness me, and then have gold. It's not gonna be silver. It's not gonna be perfect cosplay, but you're getting there.
Being in the woods, at one with nature. There's so many wonderful things to see and hear. Look at this little guy. But
creepy. That's absolutely creepy. Now that you said that he killed his wife, but also if I saw an old man stalking through the woods like this, I wouldn't be so threatened. But I could see it like a young woman or maybe a small child would be threatened by by this guy. You know, just like, what are you doing, man? What are you doing here?
sometimes forests can be dark.
Don't ask what I'm doing here. What are you doing
You can
here?
stumble across things that defy the senses, things that are far more horrific than you could possibly imagine.
Lori
Underwear.
Winkleman is a mother of 3. She lives in southern New Jersey, next to an isolated...
Background noise says, I don't think that bird is real. No, we're not getting into the entire conspiracy where birds are part of the government. Because we already, that's true. So yeah. No, is that true where birds are drones that the government controls? I'm sure they have at least one.
forest known as the Pine Barrens.
Maybe a few.
It's very unexplored and unfriendly, I guess would be the best description.
Lori and her family moved here in 2003. It was then they witnessed the weird and eerie atmosphere.
Arden Share says like one of those Fortnite buses to pick up illegals, right? It's a bang bus. Is that what they call it? Am I getting that wrong? Am I getting that embarrassingly wrong? Am I talking about porn? Is it not the same bus? Is it not the same bus? The Fortnite bus and like the bang bus? Are they not the same bus? The one with all the signature? No. Excuse me. Excuse me if I made that.
There were no squirrels.
That terrible
there were
mistake.
No birds. There was nothing. It was just this quiet, still forest that was very creepy.
Arden Share says squirrels are government agents. I recognize that sounds crazy. It's not crazy until you dissect at least 30 or 40 of them, and then you figure out what you have. Because if you even find like a small microchip or even a bit of metal inside one of those 30 or 40 squirrels, then I'm going to say that is confirmed. So get to work. I want
The
to see
family
him.
decides to avoid the woods
see
at
'em
all
all.
costs. But on February 18th, 2004, an event takes place that would haunt them forever.
David Thorup says Shatner's wife was found at the bottom of a pool full of booze and Xanax with a neck injury. Okay, so she might have just been drinking booze and taking Xanax, as we all do, and then dove headfirst into the pool, right? That's plausible. Well, it's either that or Shatner's a cold-blooded killer. What do you think is more likely? Honestly, I don't know. I don't know Shatner like that. Maybe she had some dirt on him. I'm sure she did, his wife. Maybe he wanted to bang one of the aliens again.
The night stands out in my mind originally because it was the first snowstorm we had down here.
It does. It checks
Lori
out.
ventures outside to turn off the Christmas lights. Her 10-year-old son, Glenn Jr., insists on coming along.
My wife, she's
I had a
drowned.
buddy system for my kids so that no one was ever allowed to go out alone.
As Lori unplugs the lights, she suddenly notices something is very wrong with her little boy.
He was just frozen in terror.
Lori
How do
soon
you
sees
get
why.
one of these acting gigs?
Someone.
One of these acting gigs is probably pretty sweet, right? You don't have to be very good. You just pick it up.
Or something is watching them from the forest.
It was horrible. It was huge. It had an ugly face.
If that was a prank, if that was a guy like in a suit, I've said this before, but if you're in a suit, like walking around in the woods, if you're like in a furry suit, be it a Sasquatch or a werewolf or something like that, you deserve to be shot. You 100% deserve to be shot. So don't be surprised if you're pulling a prank on somebody and then you catch a bullet. So don't do that. Don't do that. Don't pull pranks like that. Don't pull pranks like that. You're going to get fucking killed.
Terrified, Laurie and her son run for their lives. But
Don't
the
pull
creature
pranks
takes
like
off in
that.
hot pursuit.
It swooped over our heads, heading in the same direction we were, towards the house. When we got to the back door, it was right over us.
Scrambling inside, they think they're safe. But whatever attacked them is still out there.
There was this like clacky metallic noise on the surface of the roof. I've never heard anything like it.
Where's your gun?
Terrified, Laurie and Glenn huddled together for hours, waiting for the monster to crash through their roof. When
Where's
they
their
emerged
gun?
the next morning,
Why don't they have a gun? Why do they never have a gun? Get a gun. Get a gun and then all fear disappears. Right? You have a gun and then there's no issue. Right? You have two guns and there's extra no issue. But one gun will do it. I mean, even a 22. Once you start shooting, somebody's going to be like, I don't want to continue to be shot by that 22. Right? It might not kill them immediately, but if you get shot once with a 22, you're going to be like, oh, I'm going to go because I don't want to get shot by that gun anymore, even though it's just a 22. Damn, I have a pellet gun, and it's full auto, and even if I pulled that bad boy out and started like plinking, they would leave almost immediately because it could put an eye out, and you need eyes.
the creature is gone.
Werewolves need eyes.
But what they see is almost as frightening.
Any
went
gun.
outside, it was-
Have a gun, for God's sakes. You're an American, right? You look like a guy, by the way. You're an American, though, I assume. Get a gun. How hard is that? Go to the park in a rough neighborhood and start being like, will somebody sell me a gun? And then somebody will walk up to you and be like, hey, do you want to buy this gun? $50, $100, and it's yours. Yeah, most likely the serial number's been rubbed off and it's a murder weapon. If you're cool with that, which I don't see why you wouldn't be, you're good to go. You can get it cheaper. Get a magnet and put it on a rope, right? And then just huck it off the dock. And just keep doing that until you get a gun. You will get a gun. I promise you. You're going to get a gun. You're going to get a few guns. At the very least. At the very least. You might get some good ones too. Depending on where you're magnet fishing, you can get some very decent finds. And as long as you don't tell nobody about it, they're yours.
Saw the tracks exactly where
No
it landed.
problems. No problems.
There were footprints. We couldn't believe it. Perfect prints.
Background noise says, unless these are dog soldiers type werewolves, then you are just fucked. So you're talking the army, DARPA, I imagine, is breeding dog super soldiers. Why? Why do they have machine dogs, right? The machine dogs work just fine. Why would they have to make a werewolf? Just for funsies? I don't see why a werewolf would be tactically advantageous. But I could be wrong. Maybe there is some sort of obstacle course that the battlefield is on, and they have to jump through hoops and go up and down pyramids and seesaws and such. I'd watch it.
Laurie
But
takes
it is
photos
war.
of the prints. She's determined to solve the mystery.
What the fuck? That is kind of strange. They are paw prints on her roof. And they're from two-legged, right? Because look, see, there's one. This is a two-legged thing. This is a prank. That's what this is. This is a man who puts on dog footprint shoes because there's not 4 feet here. You see, there's one print and then there's 2 print. If this was a 4-footed animal, there'd be a print over here and then another print over here. But see, this is 1 step, 2 step, there's another step, and then he kind of stands there. It could be a werewolf, though.
So she shows the evidence
Maybe.
to rangers at a nearby state park.
Maybe.
I just said, please let me know what this is. Could it be a cougar? Could it be a bear?
It's neither. It's something beyond logic.
David says 12 gauge in hand, waiting for a good shot, not huddling in fear. Yeah, if you have a shotgun, you don't even need a good shot. You just shoot. You just start shooting. And whatever dies, dies, right? As long as it's not you, you're behind the gun. So you're in good shape. But anything in front of the gun, whether it be, anybody, the dog, anything will die.
The older gentleman.
Buckshot, even maybe the heavier bird shot. I don't know if you could take some. It would hurt.
Immediately just said, it's the Jersey Devil. You just had a Jersey Devil sighting. Well, I was embarrassed, to be honest. I didn't want to scare my neighbors or look like I was insane and seeing
This is to cover up the Adam's apple, right?
Elvis or UFOs.
But Laurie and Glenn aren't the only ones. Thousands claim to have seen a demonic-like monster in the Pine Barren. They call it the Jersey Devil. This mysterious entity...
Background noise says dragon's breath. But, is that really going to do a lot of good if they're not soaked in gasoline? You can soak them in gasoline with some Home Alone type of booby trap and then shoot them with dragon's breath and then they're on fire, I guess. And then people will be like, why is that guy on fire? And then we'll be like, he's protesting Israel. And then everyone will ignore it. Just put a sign that says Free Palestine on him. And as he's burning, everyone will just look away. No one's going to get charged with anything. Everyone's just going to look away, right? No one wants that kind of heat. No one wants that kind of heat. People crack jokes and stuff like that and say, he died for nothing. Which is true. But, this is a werewolf. So,
is believed to have inhabited the forest for over 200 years. Some believe its origins are closely linked to a local witch named Mrs. Leeds, who gave birth to her
Scott says dragon's breath is pretty legit, and I would love to shoot a round of it. I'm sure it's legal here in Florida. I don't have a shotgun, though, so I need to fix that. But I would absolutely get some of those dragon's breath, and then, you just see fireballs coming off my property, which would be sweet.
13th child in the 18th century.
Legend has it, I believe it was deformed. It was horrible, ugly, horrible eyes, snout, horrible forehead. It grew very large and it was very powerful, and it broke out and escaped.
Was the winged creature that attacked Laurie and her son
I know I don't have a shotgun. It's just I haven't gotten around to buying a shotgun yet. And I don't know why. It's just I don't have one. Dude, buy me one. Dude, you guys are a cult, right? Can you get together a few cult dollars and buy me I don't know, a Benelli or something like that,
the
or
formed child of an
something
18th
cool.
Century witch?
I know what I saw, and I know animals. I just felt
I know I live in the jungle. What does me living in the jungle have to do with having a shotgun? Right? I have other guns. There's other guns around me right now. But there's not I don't have a specific shotgun. I'm sorry. I don't go duck hunting. All right. I just, I have never, it's just not on the top. I would love one. I would honestly love one. Right. But it just hasn't come around where I'm like, oh, I got 500 extra bucks. I need to go get me a shotgun. Now I do need to get one, right? Now you guys are convincing me, why don't I have a shotgun? I should have it right under the desk right here. It would hit my knees. but that'd be fine. It'd be fine, right? As long as I have it. As long as I would have it, right? Stuff one in my pillowcase.
Prey. For the first time in my life, I have never known what it felt like to be prey.
I would like that.
And I just felt like that. It was awful. It was just really awful.
What exactly struck Lori?
Scott says you have literally 12 cottonmouths surrounding your home. How do you know there's 12 of them? I know there's cottonmouths all over the place. I don't know the exact number of cottonmouths. It's probably a lot more than 12, bro. I mean, just to be honest, I'm like in the swamp. So there's probably a lot more cottonmouths than just a dozen or so. But I don't need a shotgun for that. I have other guns. A cottonmouth I would shoot with the 22. That would be plenty. That would be plenty. And then it wouldn't, it wouldn't be a problem shooting the 22. Right? I feel like a shotgun would be very loud. Not that it's illegal to shoot on my property. I'm perfectly within my rights to shoot on my property, but I don't know. I don't know how the neighbors would feel about. But honestly, I hear gunshots all the time. So, yeah, okay, I'll get a shotgun. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'll figure something out.
In the
Paint the ceiling, perhaps? I don't know.
Are demons real? Women's Studies Professor Deborah McGregor.
Start a street sweeper fund to buy a shotgun? You want me to go what do you want me to do? Do you want me to just start sweeping the street and hope people tip me? Is that going to work? I do this and people don't. But you want me to go in the street and sweep it up and just look around for people to be like, eh? And then throw me a coin? I guess. It's a very strange way of busking, but you got to make ends meet. So whatever you got to do. Maybe I'll start an OnlyFans.
Doesn't think the Jersey Devil exists. But
you guys don't think I have the body? I do.
A monstrous theory.
I do.
Monster births
Absolutely.
were understood to be children of the devil.
During the 18th century, some children were born with serious defects due to infectious disease and intermarriage.
A street sweeper is a shotgun. It's a rotary drum shotgun. Well, that sounds fun. That sounds like a lot of fun. I was looking at getting one of those, what is it, an AA-12, right? The semi-automatic shotguns. Those look fun. There's also what is it, an AK-70? The AK-47 has a variant that shoots shotguns. I forget what it's called, but that looks like a lot of fun too. Oh, a lot of fun. I just haven't gone around to doing it, man.
They were known as monster births.
The Sega.
The mother of a monster
Saga.
baby would
Sega.
dance.
Sega. Yes.
Because some people would say that she had sex with the devil.
Okay, see, I told you it was gonna come around to a sex thing, didn't I? Somebody else mentioned it. Was it Scott? Scott, did you say, is this a sex thing? Boom. Right on. Of course it's a sex thing. It always goes back to, I wonder if this is women. I wonder if that werewolf would fuck me with his dog knot. That's what chicks think about. On the reg, by the way. Chicks are crazy, dude. Chicks are crazy. They're not okay upstairs. Good thing the downstairs is what we care about. That's the important bit. But upstairs, it's just a mess, dude. It's a circus up there of rape fantasies and dodging accountability and recipes of various meals and stuff. So, yeah.
Professor McGregor claims that not only did Mrs. Leeds suffer a tragic monster birth, but it occurred during a period of Christian fanaticism in New England, which made it seem like...
Art and Shy says, I've always wanted one of those M4 assault shotguns. Those are sexy. So it's, that would just be like a... I don't know what that... I know what an M4 is, right? But in an assault shotgun... I don't know exactly what that is.
Sign.
I can't
Dark,
picture it.
Supernatural forces were at work.
Scott says I didn't say anything about sex. That's not true. Stop it. Stop lying.
You might wonder how
Stop.
people got
Stop.
the idea of something.
You and
being
I both
born
know,
with
Scott.
claws
All right.
and horns. I think we don't know. The power of legend amazes me in terms of how long this story of the Leeds family.
She likes getting fucked by werewolves in her head, right? In her imagination. She's getting domed by, a chiseled werewolf, right? The whole V-pack, right? With the, all the way. And that's what she imagines. Don't say I'm a pervert. She's the one who's dedicated her life to it. You see around her neck? There's a little turquoise. That means something, I'm not sure. It means something, though.
This is from 1735.
It means she gets the knot. She gets the werewolf knot.
To 2011. I mean, that's really amazing.
She's on
Someone's
4chan?
still remembering
Probably.
a sighting of such a creature. People might have thought, well, that's the way a monster looks.
Is the Jersey Devil a deformed infant born to an 18th century woman? If so, then how did it turn into the legend of a supernatural creature?
Oh,
It'll
damn.
keep your
What
kids
happened
from
to my
going
bell?
too far, and then
Hold
maybe
on.
they won't get eaten.
A
I gotta
woman
bring my
and her
bell
son
back up.
are attacked by a winged creature in the woods behind their home. Was it a demon from the 18th century, or a legend inspired by a deformed baby? Psychology PhD student Ian Miller agrees the Jersey Devil is a type of monster, one that inhabits our minds.
The Jersey Devil is a great
Oh, it's in our minds, is it? That sounds pretty gay. There's the bell. I like you, bell. Background noise for $10 says, "Sulk me, beautiful." Okay.
example of a meme.
Thank you.
According to Miller, a meme is an idea that is transmitted.
It's going right to the shotgun fund, right? Can I just pretend there's like a meter around here, or have some Asian guys saying we're at $10 for the shotgun fund, and I'll get a shotgun.
From person to person, infecting our brains much like a virus or a viral video.
Memes can describe all sorts of phenomena that we experience on a daily basis, whether it be fashion trends as a good example.
Is he saying memes? Is he explaining memes to us? Is this a boomer ass show? Is this just like the most boomer show where this nerd has to come on and explain memes to 60-year-olds? I like the person they picked too. It seems like the type of person that a boomer would be angry at, and then just associate the entire generation with somebody like this. People like this give millennials a bad name. And I know millennials have a bad name. And honestly, it's not undeserved, right? There's a lot of very stupid shit the millennials have fallen victim to. I don't think they're as responsible as like boomers believe, but this is an issue. This is a problem. But he imagines himself getting raped by werewolves.
Or the adoption of different technologies.
He's into it. He loves the dog knot.
Miller thinks memes enable legends.
He's a dog knot warrior.
To survive for hundreds or even
That's what he calls
thousands
himself.
of years.
The Jersey Devil is it's an example of, I think, an urban legend.
David Thoreau says werewolf fetishism seems furry adjacent. The same thing with vampire. The vampire fetishists, right? Where they like, you know, how you have like this skinny tall dude and then his like fat goth girlfriend, and they like drink each other's blood because they think it's like cool and mystic, but it's really just gross. That is furry adjacent as well. But so is the whole werewolf thing, where I'm sure there's werewolf costumes where people dress up and bang each other. And I mean, come on. How could there not? Everyone has figured out every single way under the sun to bang each other. It's just, it's a hobby. It's a hobby for a lot of people. What can I dress as or pretend to be and then bang somebody as? I mean, go to a Ren fair. Go to a Ren fair And then you'll see stuff like that. Stuff
And
like that.
urban legends are great instances of memes.
Miller is sure the Jersey
Background
Devil
noise says I get bricked up for the Spas 12. That's a good one, too. Yeah.
continues because it
That'd be
serves
fun.
as a cautionary tale, making the Pine Barrens forest seem scary. Even
That's what I want. I want an AA-12. An AA-12 would be pretty cool. Or the Saiga. Is it the Saiga 12 as well? The Saiga. Saiga?
isn't.
The Jersey Devil, that's a great story that serves a purpose. It'll keep your kids from going too far, and then maybe they won't get eaten.
But how did a story of a deformed baby morph into the legend of the Jersey Devil? To demonstrate, Miller has set up an experiment to show
Oh,
how
good. Oh, good. The guy could barely grow a mustache. He could barely grow a mustache, dude. I don't know what this guy's deal is. I just dislike him.
it works in real time.
What we're going to try today is we're going to revisit a game that we might have played when we were younger called Broken Telephone.
A volunteer is shown an image of the Jersey Devil. She in turn describes what she's seen to the next person, and so on down the line.
Big dick, big dick, big dick, big dick, big dick. Wolf dick, big dick, wolf dick. Big dick.
Through word of mouth, the idea evolves, becoming more
Look how tiny that guy is.
fantastical each time it's retold.
I expect that a lot
You can be the one. You could be the one. Any one of these people. Just be the one. You hear something and then just reply. Just say the worst shit you can say to the next person, right? Just say William Shatner killed his wife. And then by the end of it, they're going to be like, William Shatner killed his wife. And then he's going to get pissed. He's going to get mad. Steven Seagal raped a girl. Anything like that. The Jews did 9/11. Say that. Have that go down the line. And just see, be like, there's no, that's what I heard though, right? That's what the dancing Israelis, that's what I heard. And then people will be like, no, I'm not doing that.
A lot of the details about this picture are going to be completely lost. Is this monster eating an animal or is it eating a person? The way that the Jersey Devil is deep.
David says Saiga 12 is around $500 and the AA 12 is $25,000. Okay, I'll get a Saiga. I'll get a Saiga 12. That sounds. I don't have $25,000 to piss away on a shotgun. I don't. I wish I did. I don't. But $500, I could swing $500, right? I can swing $500. They seem clunky and like. You see the thing with the AK platform down here in Florida, it doesn't run ideally, optimally, because in Florida there's a lot of moisture, there's a lot of muck, there's a lot of mud, and so you need something like the M4, the AR-15 kind of platform, because they keep debris out of the chamber a lot better. The AK platform, there's big gaping holes in it. It does better in the cold, right? You can freeze an AK and then pick it up and fire it over and over again. You can't really do that with an AR-15, but you can do it with an AK. But an AK, if you get it like muddy and stuff, it can jam up. Little rocks can get into the receiver and stuff. So, but like that would matter. I'm not going to be using it for battle. I don't think. Maybe.
Depicted in this image.
Knock on wood.
Definitely some horror influence to it. It's going to be a kind of scary picture. And I'm expecting that that's a component of the story that might well be repeated as we go down the chain.
By the end, the meme has become virtually unrecognizable from the original illustration.
The meme. He had to explain a meme. And this isn't a meme, for God's sakes. This is a picture. A meme has words and usually a joke behind it. Some sort of message, perhaps. Almost like a political cartoon. This is just a picture, bro. This is a horse-headed bat. Not a meme. Not a meme at all. You're William Shatner. You come from the century, like the 24th century. You don't know what a meme is?
Moment of truth.
I don't know.
A wolf jumping on a nail in the forest.
A wolf jumping on a nail.
Okay.
even one person along the chain misremembers something, these alterations to the story are just going to kind of explode. Here's what we got. I think it definitely illustrated the point that when one person tells another person, they're not making an identical copy of whatever was in.
That dude has no testosterone in his body. He doesn't have any testosterone in his body at all. None. And he needs to get a haircut and like the whole thing. But you know what his problem is? Do you know what his main problem is? Is he's into cryptids. He's a cryptozoologist. And that dries up women so fast. Because there's no money in it. There's no money in cryptozoology. But also it attracts this kind of person. So never tell a chick that you're a Bigfoot hunter. Or allude to it. Don't be like, yo, I believe in Bigfoot. You want to smash? Because she'll say no. Dude, no. No. Because people who believe in Bigfoot are poor.
In the first person's head.
Across the board. They're just poor. You know why? Because there's not big expeditions heading out in the woods looking for Bigfoot. Poor.
Psychology professor Doug Campbell.
That's a sick house, though. He's got a sick house.
Agrees Lori Winkleman and her son saw something strange and frightening. But it wasn't a demon. It was a human child.
Since the founding of Rome, there have been stories about human beings who've been raised.
Look at the beam work in there. That's a sick house. That's a nice house, dude. That ain't cheap. That ain't cheap. Yeah, but I don't think you believe in werewolves. So that means you get to have a nice house. If you believe in werewolves, you don't get to have a nice house.
By animals.
They're called feral children. And they're surprisingly common. Over 400 of these bizarre cases have been documented worldwide.
In one case, the famous wolf girls of India, the girls actually...
That's just Indians, man. David says Panzer Mag 12 AR style 18.5 inch 12 gauge 5-round shotgun FDE black PMag PAMAG 12. Are you trying to feed me a link? Because that was not a link. 250 though. 249. 249. 249 bucks. $249. You're kidding me. Give me the link. Give me the link. Give me the link. 249 bucks. That's a steal. You can't get a handgun for that. That's an insane. There's got to be something up. 249 bucks. Will it explode in my hand? Even if it does. I wouldn't get that, but even if it does, 249 ain't bad. Let's say there's a 50-50 shot that it kills me. It's kind of worth it.
They grabbed birds and ate them raw.
But where do they come from? Is modern civilization creating wild, animal-like creatures that survive purely on primal instincts?
Historically, of course, the reason is that parents or guardians realize that they have a child who is not intellectually capable.
And they just dump him on the side of the road like a puppy, like a box of puppies, right? Right here. He used to be a puppy, and they just threw him in the river in a burlap bag, right? And like Moses, he washed up on the side. Nobody saved him. And he chewed his way out, and then he just became part of the background, the wilderness, whatever is not our main focus. This guy ran out to it, and then he came back. Why? So you can pay taxes, right? So you can get shot down by women. You probably never saw a woman in your life, and you didn't even know how blessed you were until one day somebody shot a trank into your neck like that, and you freaked out, right? Because you had no idea. You thought you got bit by a snake or something. No, just turns out Indian poachers thought you were some sort of something. And then they tranked you and then brought you back to the city. And the first thing that you noticed was the smell, because it's India. But then is women. right? And then you're like, oh, damn. Oh, right? But then you heard them talk and you're like, oh.
Inherits the real problem that's going to...
Oh, they talk? Oh, that ruins them. Oh, they fight too. Oh, they fight constantly. Wow. Oh, but they don't run the world, right? Right. Okay, good. They fight constantly, right?
Costs them their livelihood.
What are they fighting about? They're not fighting. Well, one girl said something that she kind of meant as a compliment, but the other girl didn't take it as a compliment. And so now she's like snooty at it. But the first girl doesn't even understand that what she said was maybe not taken as a compliment. So now they're just mad at each other because this one girl thought it was going to be this way. And the other girl is like, why would you think like that? And so now they're just both mad, and it's like causing a rift in the community and stuff. Yeah, there's no real reason, right? There's nothing real behind that fight, but it's just imagined. It's imagined out of pure imagination, out of boredom, out of first world boredom. That's what you get. You get fights that don't matter and mean nothing just for the sake of the fight. Just for the sake of the fight. Thank God I'm not a woman. I just, every day I wake up and I check and I'm like, you did me right again, Jesus. Thank you. And, I don't want that day. I don't want that day where I'm like, oh shit, I'm a woman. Damn. Damn. Because then I'm just completely irrational and I start like being schizophrenic and depressed and stuff. I don't know. It seems like a bummer. It seems like a bummer being a woman, right? Even the pretty ones. And I'm not, the pretty ones, they got life on easy mode for sure, right? Like from a man's perspective where everything of hers gets paid for and like, she gets a bunch of attention and everyone loves her and stuff like that. Yeah. But like beyond that, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it, man. Just the constant hormones and shifting personalities and stuff. No, thank you.
The easiest thing is to leave them for nature to take care of. How would you know a feral child if you see one on the...
Scott says that vaulted ceiling is awesome. That's what I was saying, bro. Look at it. That's good work. That is good work, right? It's clean, dude. He has to have somebody come in and clean it, right? Not that that needs to happen all that often, but you need to like condition the wood and stuff. But that looks expensive. I don't care who you are. That looks expensive.
Well, you would find if you should chat with the person that they had difficulty understanding you, and certainly you had a difficulty understanding them. They probably would not have had a haircut.
You DM'd me the link. Okay, I'll bring up the link. All right.
They would be
We're shopping, boys.
Whether you had any food with you.
We're shopping.
And their clothing, if any, would be in tatters.
If any would be in tatters. Well, if they were living in the wild, why would they give two shits about clothing? Are you at least 18 years old? I like where this is going. David. I like where this is going. Remember me temporarily while I shop. I verify that this device is not shared. That is nebulous at best. Yes. Okay. Well. Get the fuck out of here. Wow, that actually looks like a lot of fun. You're fucking kidding me, though. Hold on. The Starship Troopers logo behind it just makes it. It just makes it, right? I don't even know if that's what it is, but... Okay, so what? I order this and then it gets sent to a gun shop and then I pick it up. $62. 62. Oh, shit. Add to cart.
Wow, this story is getting more and more monstrous.
Add that shit
Man,
to
at first
cart.
it's some witch having sex with the devil. Now this other guy actually believes that sweet, innocent children could...
Scott says Couch Jeffrey needs to release the credit card. She doesn't even have a credit card.
Horrifying monsters. Is he crazy? Hey, no playing ball. Get off my lawn.
David says, I live in New York and they shipped a pile of AR kits to my house. What, with like the lower receiver and everything? Or was it everything but the lower? Because that'd still be cool.
I don't think he's crazy at all.
Could Laurie Winter really have mistaken a feral human child for a hideous monster? Professor Candan says yes, thanks to the atmosphere of fear and terror inspired.
Okay, so are there like attractive female sexy werewolves? Are there sexy big feet women? I feel like whenever we see these cryptids, it's always the male of the species. Why are there sexy werewolf women? Big boobs.
By the Pine Barrens.
If you're living in a place and you hear something out there every night, you're already primed to be frightened.
Candan feels creepy environments make people think they're dealing with something.
David Thoreau says complete uppers and had to buy the lowers from a gun store. Yeah, that's what you got to do. You got to take it to, you got to send it to a gun store. And then you show up and be like, I am who I say I am. And they like run your background check and stuff like that, which is stupid. Which is a violation of the Second Amendment, right? Running a background check of any sort is a violation of the Second Amendment because it's not up to you to decide whether I can defend myself. It's not up to you. It's not up to anybody. It's not, shall not be infringed if the government says it's okay. That's retarded. That is completely the opposite. That is the opposite of what that means, right? When it says shall not be infringed, that means you should fuck right off with your papers and your taxes and your serial numbers. It's really how, I'm not exactly sure how they argue that shall not be infringed means nothing. It just means nothing. How does that mean absolutely nothing? Right? It says shall not be infringed. And you're like, well, we're just going to ignore that part. What? Aren't you like a lawyer? Aren't you a constitutional lawyer? Don't they have specific sectors of law? Like classes you go to that's constitutional law. Am I misreading? Do I not know English properly? Am I misinterpreting the term infringed? Because, am I misinterpreting the word shall? How about not? It's seriously, it's a very short sentence, right? It's a very short sentence. There's really not a lot you can get wrong with it. And that's probably why they made it so short, right? Because they didn't want a bunch of assholes to misunderstand. But guess what? They did. They did. They misunderstood fully and completely and basically just completely disregarded it. So there you go. You're not allowed to ID me. You're not allowed to know what guns I have. Specifically, you are not allowed. The government is not allowed to know how armed or how not armed I am. That is the entire point. Right? So when we go and say, here's my ID, oh, make sure you put me on your little list. So when you come around in your MRAPs and your SWAT vans and stuff like that, you know exactly how many guns I have. Right? Oh, but I'm going to be real clever and say I lost them at the bottom of the lake. Well, they're there, aren't you? What? So you have to lie and be like, I lost them. You have to lie. No, that's not what you have to do. You have to uphold the Constitution like an American should do. Even if the government doesn't. Even if the government does not. Right? Because it's not their country. It's our country, isn't it? Right? They just kind of work here. We live here. Yeah, they obviously do work here or live here as well. But no. That's why 3D printing guns is so awesome. It's the most American shit you have ever heard of, right? You mean you could just easy bake oven yourself an AR-15 in your living room? Hell yeah, you can. Fuck yeah. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. And they've gotten really good at it too. They've gotten really good at making all types of stuff. But I guess the government wants to crack down on 3D printers now too, because there's too much freedom. There's too much unadulterated freedom coming out of that bad boy. And so they're like, oh, well, we're going to have to put limits on it, because we don't want, people. That's how you weaken a country, right? That's how you deeply weaken a country, with just a bunch of bullshit fear tactics and then Karens going around reporting and complaining all the time. Get a 3D printer. We should all have one. I don't, but I should get one. I just haven't had the ADD hyperfocus to get one. Although you can get one for real cheap. They're like $150. It's amazing. It's amazing how cheap they are. But they take some skill, I'm told, or I've read.
Much worse than it really is.
This leads to belief that one is dealing with a subhuman sort of beast who's apt to be dangerous. In point of fact, they're rarely dangerous.
Scott says, I remember at one time you could get a casting and the jigs for $100. What does that mean? What are jigs?
The Jersey Devil, a feral child roaming the forest.
I'm not a gun expert, right? I have a few, yeah, of course, but I'm not like a gun expert who talks about guns all the time. I have a few. I know how to run them. Beyond that, most of my gun knowledge comes from video games. Comes from Call of Duty. If you put an AUG in front of me, like an AUG 15 or whatever it is, I'll be like, that's an AUG. That's a bullpup, and I want it. Or like a PC-90 or something. I'll be like, that's fucking rad. Or a Scorpion or an Uzi or something like that. You put them in front of me and I could pick out each one of them. No problem. When it comes down to like parts and the nitty gritty of the lingo, I'm not that great at it. Just saying.
Or was it a deformed infant born to an 18th century woman? Or is the mystery of the creature only
Scott says Dremel tools make dreams come true. I do have one of those. I do have one of those.
We may never know.
I'm a gunsmith, right? You just start drilling into, right? What is it called? Stipling when they when they take like a Glock handle and they put all those bumps in with your Dremel. That's good work.
Weird or what?
The guitar of legendary American blues musician Robert Johnson was said to have been tuned by the devil. Interesting. You have to tune your guitar like every time you play it, right? So that saying doesn't mean anything, right? Because if I was able to tune a guitar once and then it's just in tune, I would buy that guitar. I would have that guitar. Because not that I dislike tuning my guitar, it's just another step. Or is it a half step? Little music joke for you. I'm going to shoot myself.
A small town in South Carolina is terrorized by a strange...
Background noise says, why do all your AR lawyers have 3 pinholes? Probably for some illegal reason. Probably for some deeply illegal reason.
lizard creature.
We didn't know what we was up against.
Ardenshire says, don't feel bad, John. I don't even own a gun. Lots of blades and bows, but no gun. But you're in California, right? And I bought a gun. I bought my AR in, it's an M6, but I bought that in California. And it's got one of those brake body, and it's just like kind of a pain. But, it's, go to Nevada. Or don't do what I say because that could be like a felony. But you know, right? It's a pain buying a gun in California. They really, I mean, they're just Nazis about it, and it sucks. But you still have the legal right to go buy yourself a gun. It's much easier to buy like a handgun than it is a rifle for some stupid reason, right? Like handguns kill way more people, but like if you want to buy a rifle, oh no, that's too much. Meanwhile, every blood and every crip in Los Angeles has a Glock with a switch on it. Why are you worried about rifles, right? But everyone has a Glock with a switch. And you're not doing anything around. People get arrested with like, Glocks with switches and like 30 round mags and stuff just sticking out of their pants. And they're like, well, back on the street with you. I don't know if they give their gun back. Probably not, because it's unregistered. Get out of that state, Ardenshire. If you want to be in this cult, you're going to have to like make some sacrifices and pick up your family and move. Displace your entire family, cut off contact with your friends and relatives. That's very important. When you're joining a cult, you kind of have to, right? Because they're going to be like, oh, you're in a cult, we have to save you. And you're like, no, Mom and Dad, I'm finally happy. That's what you tell them, right? And then you just sign over all your stuff, like your power of attorney and your bank accounts, to me, and I'll buy shotguns for the lot of you. Everyone gets a shotgun. A Saiga, not an AA-12. But we gonna be armed. We gonna be armed.
Man beasts. Throughout history, we've heard of mythical creatures that are somehow part human, part animal. Wow. Now let's assume for a minute that they do exist. It might be possible, right? This throws up some very interesting questions. If they are half and half, which is which?
David says the guns I bought here in 20 are unable to be brought to the range here since 22. Why? Did they? It's so stupid. The ranges in California are annoying too, right? Because I know they have all these safety rules and stuff, but it just makes it unfun when you have too many rules. It's just like, come on, man. I have a gun. I'm trying to be reckless, okay? Come on, can't you? I'm sorry. Do I have to pull out my copy of the Constitution that I keep in my pocket at all times? Because I will. I will. And it'll say, shall not be infringed. So you being like, hey, knock that off, you're going to kill someone, is an infringement of my rights, sir. So I will shoot in any direction I damn well please.
Are they animals with the brains
parabolic
of
arcs and all?
Humans with the brains of animals. And what do we prefer? Are man beasts living among us? And if they are, would you want to live?
So who in the chat would fix her? You see this thing strutting the streets of San Francisco or Philadelphia or what have you. Who can fix her? Who can give her a quick shave, clean her up? She obviously does meth and something like that, but she's down. For a warm meal and a soft bed, she down. Okay, she down. So who's single? Who is single in here? Well, we'll figure that out.
Alongside a cold-blooded being whose emotions and thoughts are completely alien.
In the summer of 1988, Liston Truesdale was the sheriff of Bishopville, South Carolina.
This kind of is a sleepy little community.
But things soon began to change.
It seems like there's good racism
In a
this
bizarre series
community.
of incidents, someone or something began attacking park.
A bored sheriff is an excellent sign that you live in a good neighborhood, in a good town. When the sheriff is like fat and like eating pie and be like, we don't want trouble in my town. And then like he says, he doesn't say racist things off the bat, but you can tell he grew up saying a lot of racist shit. That's a good town.
Cars. But these were no ordinary acts of vandalism. The cars looked as though they had bite marks.
This was a very serious situation that attacked in cars, and we didn't know what we had. We didn't know where it was something that escaped from a circus truck,
a circus
somebody's
truck?
Pet, a bear.
A circus truck? So you're talking about a human being, right? Because a circus truck, you would think, like, is one of those small-headed humans that, like, gnaw on things. That's what you're talking about. Just to be clear, that's what this guy, when he says escape from a circus truck or train or whatever, he means one of those retards that they keep in a cage that, like, fell off the back of a train, and now he's just starting a new life in some, like, Midwest town, chewing on people's bumpers. He's gonna get adopted.
What it could have been, we didn't know, and we just had to.
Dick says this old guy looks like a monster. Now, when you say monster, you're not talking about a werewolf, right? He's not the werewolf. When you say monster, you mean he's got like 9-year-old Filipino boys chained up in his basement, right? You're probably right.
Find out the best way we could. I wish I knew.
You're probably
what was
right
tearing
on the
up
money.
these cars. We didn't know what we.
Kevin Spacey doesn't look like very much of a monster, but he was. But he is. He's still a monster, and he's still getting work, I think, too. Isn't he still getting work? Did people release the kids from his basement, or is everyone just looking away? Did everyone burn up in that LA fire? Chained up Gimps and everything?
Up against.
Poor Gimps.
Listen would soon find out when one night a terrified high school student named Chris Davis shows up at his police station.
You better get out of my town. That's what he was saying. Here, I'm gonna narrate this.
Chris Davis.
I didn't do nothing.
A kid, a 17-year-old boy at the time, and he started telling me.
I didn't do nothing. That white girl came on me.
What had happened to him? I couldn't believe it.
You listen here, cotton picking jungle bunny. You better get out of this town. And if I ever seen the moonlight on your back again, I'm gonna blow. Wait, what?
I was listening to.
What?
Chris Davis had a flat tire.
He had a flat tire. So he brought his leather gloves, bloodstained, and his what is that in his hand? A crack pipe? He was stealing a car.
He stopped to fix his.
God, so racist. I don't even care. Trump. This is Trump's America now, right? I can be as racist as I want, but I'm not being racist here. I'm just being factual.
Flat tire side of the road. He finished fixing the tire, put his tools in the car.
Scott says, this here is a sundown town, boy, which we used to have in Florida until like 1987, right? Which is not that long ago. I was born in 1987, which seems like a long time ago. But in the grand scheme of things, there's people here that remember that. That remember that they were not, and they think they speak of it fondly, like it was safer, not safe, safer, because they can still get in, so you got to make sure you have guns.
And look across the road.
People in Florida are not like people in California. People in Florida don't mince words and stuff. They're much more blunt about race, especially if they're old. They don't give a fuck.
Davis can't comprehend what he sees. A gigantic green creature is watching him from the forest.
Cool.
It was a huge, what he described.
Look at this guy's gut. Look at that gut. It's a southern sheriff gut.
As 7 feet
tall,
tall or more, with big red eyes, looked to be a greenish in color, but he really didn't know, and had 3 fingers. Whatever it was scared the hell out of him.
The creature begins running towards him.
Chris Davis jumped in his car and slammed the door quick and sped off like a bat out of hell.
Whose car was it, though?
But the creature isn't giving up so easily.
The creature jumped on the trunk of the car and then onto the top of the car and was looking down at him through the windshield from the top.
Davis swerves the car, trying to dislodge it.
He thinks he threw him off. He had to throw him off.
Mystified.
Okay.
Sheriff Truesdale doesn't know what to make of the story.
I said, draw it.
So we put him in jail just to be safe, and just figured there was going to be a warrant popping up about him soon. And probably. What does that kid doing passing through this town? Right? Because you know he doesn't live there.
So he drew it.
Truesdale is stunned by the picture. It shows a lizard-like being that stands upright like a human.
Okay.
And it wasn't anything like I ever seen.
But Sheriff Truesdale needs to know if Davis is telling the truth.
We asked him if he would submit to a lie detector test. No problem, he said.
Davis.
Those don't do anything. Those don't. If anybody ever asks you to take a lie detector test, say no. Say no. Always say no. And they're going to be like, well, you're going to look guilty if you don't take a lie detector test. Be like, I don't give a shit. If I take that test, there's a 50-50 shot that it's going to say I am lying when I am not lying. So then you're going to use that as evidence against me, and then I'm going to go to jail for something I did not do. No, I'm not going to do that. Don't do it. Don't do it.
He isn't.
It is pseudoscience. It's not just pseudoscience. It's interrogation tactic, right? They want you to think it works. They want you to think it works and that you cannot lie to it. So you'll come clean, or, you know, they'll pressure you into telling the truth. Don't do that. Don't ever take a lie detector test. Don't do that.
But what had he seen? Davis's testimony isn't the only report.
Oh, he's buff.
Soon dozens of others come forward to describe their encounters.
See, it's always with the chiseled abs and stuff, and like the big lizard dick, right? There's a sexual aspect to this, and it's just every single time.
Giant lizard-like creature.
It's weird,
but not
it's weird.
Everyone is convinced.
Well, a lot of people didn't believe it, and a lot of people thought it was a hoax.
Crop duster pilot Frank Mitchell knows it's no hoax. Why? He saw it too.
Arden Share says, police always lean on scare tactics and try to make you sweat it out to reveal info if they can prosecute. Yeah, the cops aren't your friends. I'm sorry, they're just not. If they have you in custody, they ain't your friends, you know? They're not your friends. If you're somewhere where you do not want to be, the cops aren't there to help you, right? They're there to make sure you go to jail as long as possible, because that's their job. It doesn't matter if you're guilty or not, right? If they have an open investigation and they can pin it on you, regardless if they know or not, right? They could perfectly well know you're innocent and not give two shits, right? Because that's not their job. That's not what they get paid for. They get paid for putting people in jail and closing cases. So if you fit the bill, you fit the bill, man. And a lot of people have gone to jail completely innocent, and a lot of people have gone to death completely innocent. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. You can give them your name, I suppose, and basically say, I want a lawyer, and 95% of the time, they'll just be like, all right, get out of here. Because they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with all the paperwork and all that shit, and, like, they know you didn't do it. Right? They're just trying to pin it on someone, right? Cops have incentives just like anybody else. And the more arrests they make, regardless if they're justified or not, the better it looks on their profile. It's a numbers game for them. It's all a numbers game. And that's just their job. That's just their job. So they're not your friends. And, you know, don't say anything. Even if you're innocent, right? Even if you're 100% innocent, don't say a fucking word. And I know that's difficult because you're going to be like, I didn't do anything. Why am I here? Because they will, like, they'll use your words against you. And they'll, like, trick you into saying stuff if they can. And if you say those things, they're going to put you in jail for as long as they possibly can. And that's it. That's it. They're not your friends, okay? Don't let them do that to you.
The morning of deciding was a nice day. I got up with a very clear mind, happy as a lark, fixed my coffee like I always do, lit my cigarette, and loaded the airplane as usual.
Art and Shire says, sit in jail and enjoy the time. They can't hold you forever. Just keep your mouth shut. Yeah, I think they can only hold you for like a couple days or something like that. And if you don't give them anything, they're going to let you go, right? And it'll suck. And you might be like, but I'm innocent and I can talk my way out of this. No, you can't. Again, if you're innocent, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. If you're guilty, it doesn't matter. Don't say shit. Don't say shit. Right? There's nothing good that can come of you saying anything, right? Because if you do say something, like let's say it wasn't you, but it's somebody you knew, and you fucking roll over, right? You drop a dime. Then you're a snitch and you get stitches, right? People hear about that in jail and they stab you to death. No, say nothing, sit in jail, and then leave. That's all that's going to happen. They'll try to scare you and be like, you're going to jail for the rest of your life because we have proof. And that's not true. None of that's true. The cops can lie to you all day long. It's illegal for you to lie to them. But they can lie to you all they want. That's stupid. I think they should play by the same rules, but they don't.
And taxied on out to the runway.
Mitchell brings his plane up to takeoff speed.
Here I am coming 75 miles an hour, ready to take off.
Suddenly, he sees something that turns his blood cold.
This thing come out about right where I'm standing and just simply walked right across this runway right in front of the airplane. This thing was 8 or 9 feet tall, or better. Looked like a big monkey maybe, with a larger nose maybe than a monkey would have, much taller, and a brownish, greenish looking skin. It had a lope in its walk, and it didn't run, it just walked across the runway.
It's too late to abort takeoff, so Mitchell keeps going. But as soon as he's in the air, the creature disappears into the woods.
I come back around as quick as
I would get one of these ultralights. If I had enough property to like have a landing strip, I would get one of these ultralights. You don't need a license. You don't. If you stay under 400 feet and the airplane weighs under 250 kilograms, I forget exactly, but as long as it's a certain weight and under, you can fly anywhere under 400 feet, as long as you're not near an airport or any flight restricted area, right? You can't fly over an army base or anything like that. But if you are under 400 feet, you do not need a license. You do not need any type of pilot training. You don't need nothing like that. Under 400 feet is public airspace. You can do what you want. You can do what you want. Do I recommend doing that? Not totally. You can still die. You can still crash in an airplane and then it'll hurt. You're not going that fast, but you're still going like 80 miles an hour. So, you know, an ultralight's a pretty safe plane. If you crash an ultralight, chances are pretty good you're going to be okay. You might break a leg. You might die, though. Honestly, most plane crashes, people die from fire, not the impact. Almost every single time people die from fire because there's a lot of jet fuel or gasoline on those airplanes. And so when they crash, gas goes everywhere, and then it's a fireball. But you'd be all right. You'd be all right. Yeah, you'd be fine.
I could, but I never did see it again. And I didn't say anything about it. Then, a few days later, my buddy said...
Despite what you've heard, says I always wanted to build one of those personal helicopter kits I saw in the back of a magazine. That's stupid. That's a bad idea. That's a really bad idea. Okay, an airplane, that's one thing. You can get a kit airplane for a very reasonable cost. Like, very, very cheap. Like a couple grand. And you can have yourself an airplane. And if you have a long enough strip of, like, grass, you can take off, fly around all you want, and you're good. A helicopter is very different. A helicopter, you have, like, rotational forces and stuff. And, like, dude, that's just a terrible... Have you ever seen those things where the Africans build their own helicopters? And it's like they put blades on a washing machine and they try to make it go as fast as... They always die. They always die. And not in the air, mind you. They don't die in the air. They die on the ground. When one of the blades gets a little too low and right there, and then brains that direction, right? Don't build a helicopter. I promise you that is a terrible, terrible idea. Helicopters are... Don't build a helicopter. Don't do that.
Hey, Frank, I hear a racket in the woods.
Don't build
So
a
I took the
helicopter.
shotgun and walked out with him, and my wife followed me. And right under that light, she got a bit by a rattlesnake. The next day, after I carried her to the hospital, which she came out fairly okay.
Let's see if I can find that African
Behind
helicopter.
me here, there was a whole lot of damage in the woods back here, but I had no idea what did it. All right, unless it was what I had seen just a few days before.
Mitchell is convinced that the thing he saw is still out there.
I still hear a strange sound to this day that I cannot describe to you. I used to walk almost to the swamp at night, but I don't go anymore at night, period. This property right here I have loved ever since I've been here.
All right. Let's see if this one... This is actually probably one of the better made ones. I think he starts pedaling and then it goes. It's very stupid. I wouldn't be anywhere near that thing. Oh, it looks like it's actually making some lift. Oh. I'm surprised it hasn't exploded. I don't think he's got enough power.
Lanza!
Lift! Girl, lift! Okay, yeah. So I don't know if this is... Helicopters might need jet engines just to produce enough power to actually turn the blades. That's why they didn't have helicopters in like World War II. Well, they did at the like very early helicopters, but like not World War One. You need a jet engine. So a V4 four-banger out of a Honda Civic is not going to get you airborne. But they try. God bless them, they try.
However, now
They try.
I'm curious about at night, but I do love this property, but there is something out here somewhere in these woods around that swamp. It's a long swamp, and he may not be on this property right now, but it's a long...
Arden Shire says, I'm a veteran aircraft mechanic, so I might have some expertise, others do not. You do something like that, don't you? You work at some government thing. I remember doing something of that nature.
Long swamp, and he can be anywhere, and I promise you he is somewhere.
Did Mitchell see?
Arden Shire said, but I've also seen a rotor pop off and kill a pilot. Pajit, obviously. Yeah. The rotors, those things are going fast, right? Like, they're breaking the sound barrier going fast. So if one of those clocks you, it's over. It's like you don't even feel anything over, right? Even if you have it on like a V6 engine or something, it'll kill you. It's not going to get you off the ground though, right? Don't build a helicopter. Ardenshire could probably build a helicopter. I don't know about the... David Thoreau says, wow, R44s are $450,000. Get an R22. The R22s should be cheaper. Those little Robinson helicopters, they're legit, right? Those that's the helicopter you want to get, but you can't build those, right? But yeah, you don't need the 4-seater. You can just get the 2-seater. $500,000 though, and that's just to buy it. Upkeeping a helicopter is a fortune, right? Because you need people like to work on it. Every 6 months, it needs to be like maintained by an aircraft mechanic, and those aren't cheap.
The same animal that terrified Chris Davis. Was it a lizard man? Whatever it was, he's taking no chances.
I promise you I wouldn't come out here without my gun and a good flashlight.
Could so many witnesses be wrong? What is living?
Ardenshire says, I'm in a lab now, but used to be an aircraft mechanic. Helicopters are no more dangerous than jet turbines until you're the pilot. Well, yeah, if it's off, it's probably fine. If it's just sitting on the tarmac, I'm not afraid of it. But yeah, building your own jet turbine would also be pretty dangerous. Although I've seen people make them out of like vacuum cleaners and stuff. Have you seen those little jet cat? Those they're like little. They're like for RC planes, but they're jet cat turbines, right? And they're expensive. They're not cheap. I looked them up. I want like a set of them so I can like strap them to me and be all Iron Man and shit. But I don't think that would work. But I could make like rollerblades go faster or something like that, like rocket rollerblades. I could be a Rocketeer, but on rollerblades.
In the swamps of South Carolina.
Not gay.
Crypto hunter John Rhodes has a theory so weird, if true, it would change the history of evolution.
The lizard man of Bishopville, he evolved here. He continues to live here just like we do. It's just that we don't get to see these guys very often.
It's a wild idea. The lizard man is not half human, but a creature that has evolved alongside of us.
Background noise says if a plane engine stops, they have a backup or can glide. If a helo stops, then it's just a brick. Well, no, that's not true. Helicopters can do something called auto gyrate, which is not sexual. But just the force of the air pushing past the rotors will make them spin, and you can actually generate a little bit of lift doing that. And when a helicopter engine dies, you can actually glide it to a pretty safe landing. You just have to flare it quite a bit before you hit the ground so you can get that extra bit of lift up. Yeah. I used to fly a Cessna.
A human-like reptile known as a reptoid.
A reptoid is
when I was like 19.
is a combinative word of reptilian and humanoid. And a reptoid is actually a being that has been looked at as being 7.5 feet tall. It's large, very muscular build, large chest. It's got a hand with an opposable thumb and 3 large fingers with claws. They don't seem to have any ears. There's no hair on the body. The eyes are very large and almond-looking with vertical slit pupils. They have 2 slits for a nose, and their lips and their jawline is very strong, and their lips their mouth has no lips. It's lipless. And these beings are very imposing when you're looking at them, because you feel that there's just no chance to outrun them or to get away or anything like that. So it's a terrifying event to meet one for the first time.
Despite what you've heard says, I just want a personal drone I can fly. Why don't we have those? I mean, I know they have them and like China's deploying them and stuff, but like, why can't we have those? I can get into a drone and then just fly wherever I want right now. They have the technology. I can hop on a drone and I can fly wherever I want. And under 400 feet would be legal. Well, not where I am because I'm too close to an airport, but you know, why can't people do that? We have the tech. Why can't people do that? Because of stupid laws, because of stupid boomer laws, right? That say, oh, well, we can't figure out, you know, who's responsible. Who gives a shit who's responsible, right? Who gives a shit who gets sued? Just get in, right? And then you get a ticket from the FAA. Fuck them. Why does the FAA get to give you tickets? You didn't say they could do that. Fuck them. Fuck the FAA. Why can't we do that? That's seriously, like, why not? We have the technology. Let's just do it. Let's just let anybody buy a drone big enough to ride on, right? Like a you know, like a flying motorcycle of sorts, which would be fucking awesome. And then just fly wherever you want. What's going to happen? You're going to crash? Oh, no. Oh, no. You're going to crash and you probably die. Who gives a shit? That was on you. People die in cars every single day. Who gives a shit? Right? Nobody. Why can't we fly in drones? Tell me. Give me a legitimate reason why we cannot fly drones every single day. Why can't I take it to the grocery store and get, like, you know, groceries? That's what you get at grocery stores. I was trying to think of something else. But yeah. Why not? Anybody?
Reptoids evolved naturally on Earth through the lineage of reptiles or the dinosaurs, most likely the dinosaurs. We do actually have scientific evidence that supports this kind of conjecture. There was a scientist by the name of Dale Russell who worked with the Museum of Natural Sciences in Ottawa, Canada.
Art and Sherry says New Hampshire is actually passing flying car laws, and Cadillac has a model there commercialized. See, yes. But that's like concept shit, dude. Those concept cars never make it to market. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they don't have. Because there's tons of money in the system as it is, right? And they don't want to change the system. So it's just like, you know how they keep coming out with like new technologies and yet cars still kind of just look the same. They still look like cars. They're not like anything groundbreaking. It's because there's already a lot of money in the way cars are, all right? And the boomers don't want to change the system because they're making tons of money over it, right? Once that generation dies off, we can implement a lot better technology just because we won't have old robber barons trying to put everything down so they can maintain control. It's going to be a flipping of society, right? It's going to be a very serious. There'll be dark times. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But afterwards, you get like hover bikes and shit. So, you know, bite the bullet, for God's sakes. Bite the bullet. We get through all the boomers. They all die in the next, before 2030, because let's be honest, that shot was not for COVID. So they all die off before 2030. And just remove like the power from the, you know, it would take a war. It would obviously take a war. But whatever. I'm going to get me my Sega for $250.
And he was asked by NASA to speculate what extraterrestrial life would look like should we encounter it. And what he did was he took a dinosaur that was alive 65 million years ago named Troodon, and based on its fossil records, he was able to morphologically look forward in time past the point of where they died out to see exactly what they would have looked like later on down the line in history. And the model he came up with was strikingly similar to those reported by people like in Bishopville, South Carolina, or across the United States, but also historically, because the historical records are filled with serpent-like beings or anthropological.
David the Rope says until they can keep them quiet, no way people will put up with all that buzzing. Like the Concorde. Okay, the Concorde made sonic booms, and the Concorde was not allowed to make sonic booms over land because that's just a general rule in aviation because it'll blow out people's windows and stuff. But Dick Rickham says, why not? They put up with revving engines and blasting radios already. Yeah, I mean, if somebody was flying in a drone, it really wouldn't change my day that much. I mean, I already hear that shit all the time. I live next to an airport, right? And I hear planes a lot, and it really doesn't bother me. It's not an issue. So a drone might be loud for a second, or I might hear it for a second. It wouldn't bother me. That's not why they're doing it. It's a control thing. It's a control thing, right? It's control.
Serpent-like beings who have the ability to talk to humans.
Rhodes thinks this points to an astonishing conclusion, that the dinosaurs never actually died out.
Dick Rickham says, I hear that Mexican beat 10 times a day. Why? What did he do? They beating a Mexican outside of your house 10 times a day? Probably deserves it.
And may even have evolved in similar ways to human beings.
There's potential for a convergent evolution between mammals and what we would think of as...
Okay, can we have sex with it? That's the question. These are the hard-hitting questions that we want to know. Can you have sex with this thing? This alien reptilian thing, can you have sex with it? Is it hot? And any answers, right? They keep saying aliens are real. The government keeps coming out and saying aliens are real. Aliens are real. We have videos and stuff like that. Well, show us a hot one. Show us one we can bang. Right? Bring us an alien that looks like a human, but is like stacked, but it has purple skin or something like that. Then you're going to pique people's interest. I promise you. I promise you, 4chan will rejoice. Everybody on Reddit is going to be like, I'm going to get some, alienacy? I don't know what they call it. The kids these days.
As dinosaurs.
To support his case, Rhodes claims the reptoid's ancestor was an unusually smart dinosaur called the true Odo.
It was intelligent. It had a large brain case. Its eyes were actually coming from the side of its head towards the front of its face to allow it to have stereoscopic vision. It made a better hunter.
No.
Could a supposedly extinct dinosaur have evolved into the creature they call the lizard man?
Nope.
Here's what the lizard man might look like. A artist's conception of a modern-day true Odo.
This illustration is actually very similar to those descriptions provided by the individuals who have cited the lizard man in Bishopville.
See, this not, you're not doing it for me. You need to have it like be prettier with big jugs and like tighten up that waist and make it a female. Just make it a female, right? If you're gonna do this, make it a female. These guys are retarded. These cryptozoologists are retarded, right? You can make money on TikTok doing this, but you have to make the cryptids hot. Just come on.
Did Chris Davis encounter a reptoid evolved from a dinosaur?
It's disappointing, honestly.
Rhodes believes not only do reptoids exist with an intelligence to rival ours, but they are living right under our feet.
From the
background noise says boned ET and all I got was space herpes. See, I wouldn't have sex with ET because that's like, no, that's like having sex with like, I don't know, Danny DeVito. It'd be weird, dude. It's just weirdly shaped and the head, and it's like really bottom heavy, right? And then it makes that kind of sound and stuff. But you're not going to get space herpes because he could do the ouch. Every time. You can't even do it to yourself, right? So I don't get space herpes anymore. No, you have to touch my wang and be like, ouch, every single time. Whatever. Weirdo.
Research that we've done,
See you next week.
it appears that reptilian humanoids and their small populations live in geologically remote areas underground with technology just like we have on the planet. Are they more advanced than us? That's somewhat questionable. If they have evolved longer than us, I would say that's definite.
Shut up. You fucking retard. That guy's a fucking retard. I hate that retard. Obvious. These guys never get laid. Thought, would you bang this cryptozoologist? Would you bang any cryptozoologist? Right? That talked about Bigfoot or like the Loch Ness Monster a lot, right? But that's all he did. He wasn't like rich on the side. But he just talks, and he looks like a standard cryptozoologist. He's not like a good-looking guy that just happens to be autistic. Would you bang him? Thought. Would you bang him? Last man on earth. But then your kids are going to have like, they're going to be like cryptozoologists. So that's not a good deal. That's not a good deal. Thought? There's a manga. She says there's a manga series called Monster Museum with hot cryptic chicks. Okay. I'll look that up.
An advanced reptile civilization living somewhere deep inside.
Hold on.
Rhodes realizes his theory sounds far-fetched.
Keep in mind, as fantastic as this sounds, scientists know we've only cataloged about 4% of all life on Earth. That means that there's anywhere from 100 to 200 million life forms on our planet we haven't even seen and cataloged yet.
All right. Fine.
Could dinosaurs have survived all these years and evolved hidden from view? Or could there be another explanation?
There's many things in the environment that can cause mutations.
A strange creature terrorizes the town of Bishopville, South Carolina. Is it half man, half lizard? Shannon Bard, professor of environmental toxicology at Dalhousie University.
Okay. Since Thought just had to watch this, I just is that a centaur?
So I'll carry her until it gets here.
Darling!
Okay.
What is wrong with you? She's just another homestay like us.
Stacked! Stacked! Oh, you were right, Thought. Thank you for suggesting that we watch this the rest of the stream.
Until she got here, I was the obvious choice to be Darling's bride. Why don't you tell us how you really feel, Mia?
Yeah. Yes, Nia. Tell us more. Okay.
Just imagine, you live in a world where besides humans there are other thinking species, which are half beasts and half monsters,
All right,
who
I'm
have just
into
made
it.
a peace treaty with humanity, and by a mistake of a government agent, a half-snake girl goes to live with you, and now you are obliged to take care of her and other girls who want to marry you at all costs.
Dope.
I am Lancelot, and today's anime...
Want to marry you at all costs. This half snake chick wants to bang. She wants to jump your bones, bro. At any cost. She's just down for it. Yes, invested. I'm here.
As Monster Masumi. The story begins by showing the protagonist Kimihito waking up until he looks to the side and a half-snake girl named Mia was wrapped around him. She was doing it for warmth, but ended up squeezing too hard, and to save herself he...
Critical Thought says, I never watched, just read the manga. Thought, you... This is smut. You understand that, right? Like, you might as well be reading a romance novel. And it's not cooler that they're manga. Hold on. Let me just...
He had to hold on.
I'm gonna talk to you while this goes on in the background. It's not cooler because it's manga. It's still just weird, like, smut. It's just smut, right? You know, oh, the half-snake chick bangs this dude. It's not... Okay, yeah, I'll watch.
Both peoples has blended. Kimihito was living his ordinary life, until one day a government agent...
You're a pervert, Thought. You know that? You're a pervert.
...the address of the real people who were supposed to take care of her, but in the end, it forced him to be the girl's host. Her house has had several renovations in order to accommodate her, from increasing the furniture in rooms to installing a giant bathtub, which Mia uses for warmth and to try to get the protagonist by her side.
Nice.
Smith went to breakfast with them, and revealed some of the rules.
Dick Rickham says also pedophilia is normalized there. What, in Japan? Or in the manga? I don't know. I've never been to Japan. I'm not a weeb. So I'm like an adult, and I do like adult things, and I have kids and stuff like that. So I don't read manga. I don't pretend. I don't watch crap like this. I'm busy and it's weird, right? But if you're not doing anything and this is what you want to do, by all means do it behind locked doors. Locked. Good. But yeah, I mean, you do you, I guess.
Leaving the store, they run into some human assholes who laugh at Mia and the two of them together. Angry, she tries to assault them, but Kimihito steps in front, being shot for her sake, for if Mia hurt a human, she would be deported back to her homeland.
Alright. Okay, we need some...
Just imagine, your father is about to get married again.
Okay.
With that, you get two new sisters, who besides...
Are you fucking serious? Perverts, dude, come on. Oh my god, we're not watching this garbage anymore.
Besides being very naughty, hide a big
After
secret.
this.
I'm Lancelot,
After
and in today's
this.
anime recap, we'll watch Shin Mai Mao.
Shin Mai Mao. Okay, alright. Oh.
The story begins by showing us the protagonist.
I'm getting bricked up by all the centaur chicks, and I mean they're all fit.
Meeting his father, Jin, in a restaurant to meet his...
Dick Rickham says this is despicable, and I agree with you, Dick, but it's what Thought wanted, right? This is what Thought begged us to show on my show. So, you guys are the fans. And if Thought wanted it so badly, then fine. We're gonna watch what Thought wants to watch. You guys can just you can tell her how much of an animal she is.
Until he felt like going to the bathroom.
Control yourself, Thought.
Door, he came face to face with a girl who was getting dressed. The lock was faulty, so he should have knocked first, thinking to stop her from screaming.
I don't know what to say to this situation where there's about to be a rape in the bathroom. I don't know what to say to that. I just don't know what to say. The Thought, this is what you wanted us to watch?
He covered her mouth.
This is what you wanted us to watch?
That it was an accident and
like,
not
honestly,
his fault. She seems to have accepted this, stopping to struggle.
I don't
know the moment.
Thought's probably not even here anymore.
She's
probably not even
he
here
was
anymore.
slapped in the face, about to get a kick in the face. Jin and another.
She's just like, oh, now I put them onto weird anime, and then
here, they are Mio and Maria, his two new little sisters. Together, they go to their new home. The next day, when he wakes up, the protagonist received a pleasant surprise.
Just a normal Tuesday afternoon,
Mio
guys.
rubbing herself on top of him. She said she was doing it to please her new brother until she felt some.
Okay, this is fucking weird. All right. Okay. This is weird, dude. What were we talking about? Werewolves?
Lizard Man, isn't he?
We got to get our minds out of the gutter. Guys. Holy shit, Thought. You are sick. You need help.
Dinosaur. She races.
That's what women are reading these days? That kind of stuff?
An even more bizarre possibility.
That's
that
weird.
The creature could be a normal reptile mutated into a monster by toxic chemicals.
There's many things in the environment that can cause mutation.
Critical Thought says, well, see, when you read a lot, you end up reading a lot. Yeah, 10-4 Thought. 10-4, right? Because there's not like a million other books. You could be like reading the Odyssey or something like that, or War and Peace, which is like 1,000 pages long. No, you reach for the manga with the big boobs and the snake girl. Oh, of course. There's just so much to read, right? And once I got past classic Russian literature, I went for the snake boobs.
There can be different chemicals in the
Oh,
environment
yeah.
which can interact at a cellular level and actually cause
totally understandable. Totally.
Cause the DNA to get breaks in it, and that causes
totally.
Mutation. These could be generated.
David Thrope says Dostoevsky is reading. Yeah, that's right.
Industrial site.
You need to pick up some Dostoevsky and stop reading. Hold on. Seriously. Please your new brother. I'm just going to leave this up here. I'm insanely uncomfortable.
And could accidentally be.
Women porn is odd. Women are strange, dude. They're all sick. They're all sick in the head, right? And they, you know what it is? It's years of evolution of being war brides, right? Women have evolved to be war brides, and so they think it's hot and stuff like that. But on that same note, they think it's not hot when they're into it, right? So they have to be no, but in their brain they're like, yeah. So it's very strange. And in our modern society, it confuses people. It confuses people. They're like, am I going to get sued or is she into it?
Introduced into the environment.
Jesus.
Get exposure that way. So different chemicals and
she's into it, but you might be getting sued. If people find out, then she's going to say you raped her, right? And then that's what's going to happen. Or if you make a ton of money, then you raped her and she's going to be looking for a payout. So, she's into it. She is into it. However, if it ever becomes beneficial to her at any point in the future, you raped her.
Be very potent, and there are
That's
also
true.
situations in which a chemical
That's
itself
true.
or drug itself may
That
not
is
act
true.
as a mutagen itself, but it may disrupt cellular function in such a way that a mutation actually occurs. There's damage to the cell, and it causes stress in the cell, and then a mutation results as a secondary effect.
Sometimes these mutations can create giants.
There are many factors involved in producing animals that may be growing larger or stronger than their parents. They could potentially have some mutations in their genes, which would increase the level of growth hormones.
Yeah, he only lived to about 20 years old.
But if the lizard man is a mutant monster, how did it become one? Well, guess what?
Critical Thought says, you said you wanted hot cryptid chicks. I gave you that. Yeah, I did say that, didn't I? You fucking delivered.
Toxic waste.
I mean, honestly, thought you knocked it out of the park. Hold on. Let's see. Not the African helicopter. There we go.
Something harder.
There we go.
If you know what I mean.
If you
Although
know
it's
what
not
I
the naughty ones are
mean.
thinking, it's the game. Me and my foster sister in uncharted
Holy
terrain.
shit!
Sarah doesn't understand why that game is there. Since he's never seen it, she starts to think it's depraved. Even more so when he slips and falls on top of her, and because of that he ends up getting a knee where it hurts the most. Basara questions Jin.
Anyways, thought that just happened. These are okay. Where was it? I'm confused. There we go.
Right
Werewolves. All right. We
Bishop at the time of the lizard man sightings.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Areas or remote
I don't know
areas,
what this show is
were
about.
selected for hazardous waste dumps, areas that weren't being used. And many years ago, we weren't aware of the fact that many of the
Dick Rickham says, King Tut, how'd you get so funky? I hate that. I hate that song. I really hate that song.
chemicals could be leaching from these
It's not funny.
disposal sites.
It's not funny
into
to
the
me. It's funny to everybody else, but it's not funny to me. I hate that song.
environment where animals could be exposed to them. And this particular site,
Right in the
there
gaboon.
was discharge of
Okay, that's
the
funny.
waste into surrounding water bodies.
You don't want to
And so
get hit in the gaboon. Looks like she's been hitting the gaboon. you know what I mean?
Could have a situation in which mutagens would enter into the aquatic environment, and different
one in the coon, two in the gaboon.
organisms living there could potentially be exposed.
Is that how it... No, that doesn't make sense. Okay.
Strange.
Hold on. Hold on. Okay. Now let's go ahead and play that.
Why all that changed?
Strange
Since he hasn't
creatures
even
emerging
married
from
yet.
toxic
His
waste
father
I was trying
from cute little critters.
I was trying to get
giant
the two to match up in some sort of tasteless Foley art. Let's call it.
Terrify the planet. Ridiculous, isn't it?
Tasteless.
Well, I gotta tell you, I don't think it is. I've had some very serious issues with my plumbing lately. And if whatever it is living in there escapes, all of us are doomed.
That's terrible.
The lizard man be a giant rampaging?
That's terrible. That's terrible. Mr. Shatner, I can't believe you killed your wife for this. I mean, was it worth it? Was it worth it, Mr. Shatner? For you to kill your wife for that? Maybe. Maybe it wasn't. Thank you so much for joining us tonight on some weird adventure with Thought's idea of pornography. I mean, really, Thought? You had to make us watch that? I don't get it. I don't get it. But you do you. You do you, and I shall do me. Thank you so much for coming. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys get out there and make the best of yourselves. Go fuck a snake. Do something like that. Find yourself a nice big-titted centaur girl.
Come with me.
And she will milk you for all you're worth. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Stay strong. Stay vigilant. Spread the good word of the cult. Be my army. Carry my name forth under the banner of Sulk. Choose your battles, but be brave. Anyways, guys, thank you for coming. I'll be here tomorrow. I'll be on Daywave tomorrow. And so will you guys. Every single last one of you. Please hit the like button. Drink some water. Get a good night's sleep. And take care of yourselves, because I care about you too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I love you. Good night.
Like a snake, swim through the water. See Spanish moss gently sway. The moon hangs yellow like a big gold coin. In the distance you can hear them sing. See they're playing on a big bass drum. It's made out of coonskin hide. They're shaking rattles full of human teeth, shaking them out of time. Sing, child, ooh, girl.